You're listening to the Energy is Love podcast.
Ready for the episode?
Yeah.
Are you sure you're ready for the episode?
No. No, nothing's working.
It seems to me like everything's working.
No.
What's not working for you? Hair.
My hair, my makeup. I did nervous makeup today for some reason.
You look beautiful.
Every time I do nervous makeup, I did nervous makeup.
Yeah. This episode is released on Halloween.
It's on Samhain. That was a good laugh. I want to hear it again. Do it again.
No. I'll do it
so-
again later on when it's natural. When it comes to me. Make me laugh in a spooky way and then you'll hear it.
Commitment. Thank you. That was a funny and a scary thing.
Yes.
So I figured out how to make you laugh in a spooky way. I said, commitment.
That's what I would say to you. You're scared of commitment. Not
You're
me.
scared of commitment,
No, not at all.
Mr. Avoidant. Are you afraid of commitment?
I'll sign up for that 2-year contract with Comcast. I don't care.
And I will not. I'm like,
I'll sign up for it fully knowing that if I have to cancel in the middle of that 2 years, they're going to charge me. And I'll be like, that's fine.
okay, but
I'm still
you
gonna
hear
do it.
that's not a commitment. You're like, yeah, I'll step into it fully knowing that I'm likely to break the commitment. I'll just get out. I'll pay the price.
Not likely to break it. I'm just saying if it gets broke.
Yeah, that's not a commitment. That's literally, that's not a commitment. That was a good catch.
Okay.
But when you're like, I'll just pay the fee and get out, that's not committing to anything.
See, I don't have a fear of it because I don't do it.
You just don't. I see it. I see it.
So we thought it would be fun to do a Halloween episode, and it dawned on me, I don't know if we've ever done one, have we? I don't remember ever talking about Halloween on the podcast.
I don't know.
Do you remember it?
I don't remember what I ate yesterday.
What are some of your favorite memories of Halloween? Do you have any? Do you have better memories of Halloween from when you were a kid or when our kids were kids? Playing a crystal bowl over there.
Yeah. Wow. That shouldn't be a hard question. So there's a lot of emotions and attachments with that.
With Halloween?
Yes. So
Cool.
I really like Halloween.
Let's
I
get
really
into
like
it.
Samhain, but like there has been there's been charges. Like there's also been like charges around it. But I like one of my favorite things is like I loved going trick-or-treating with the kids.
When they were kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved it. If they would want me to go trick-or-treating with them now, I would be like,
Yes.
yeah. I loved it. It makes me so happy. I think it's so much fun. It's like the energy with it is so like I love it. You know how they say the veil is very thin there. The spirit and earthly world is like very, are you okay? You good? So like, I don't know. I just feel so charged and like excited and full of love. And it just makes me really, really happy. And then so now when I don't get to run around with kids, even though I got a little surprise, do you remember a couple of years ago? Or it was like last year? It was the year before last year time, right?
What happened?
Because Asher, all of a sudden we were walking with him and I realized like this might be it. You know, we're just starting. He turns around. He's like, I want to go. Like he dismissed us.
Oh, that's right.
He was old enough to go by himself. And I was just like, oh my God, wait, what?
We had to walk home by
Right?
ourselves.
And then because we were kind of like, we're in a rural area, he wanted to go with his friend. Are you laughing at me?
Rural juror.
That's exactly what I heard, but I wasn't going to spin off. I got to drive him. And so I basically got to drive them. I basically got to go trick-or-treating with them again and just like have the van doors open. And they were so cute because we'd go to a house and they'd run out and then run and jump in. And it was just, I was like on cloud 9. I was like, where do you want to go? We will drive anywhere trick-or-treating. I'm so excited. But I love seeing all the kids. I love seeing all the kids. I love them coming in. I love when teenagers come up and I give the parents candy. I freaking love it. I love it. It's just so much fun and excitement and joy. And everybody's like hopeful and excited and they're going to get candy and sugar and, you know, whatever the healthy of that. I don't care right now. It is just everybody's excited. and they get to express themselves and they're having fun. And it's like each door is a whole new adventure. Each door is a new experience. And what's it going to be? And, you know, they're like, don't let it be raisins. You know, it's just so much fun. Everybody's like, I mean, yeah, you get the grumpy parents every once in a while, but you know, whatever. Everybody's happy. Like there's so much joy and love to go around. Like what's not to love about that? There's no expectations. You're not like it's just happy unless the candy runs out. Then, then, you know.
Have you always felt this way about Halloween? Like, has it always been a holiday of joy and happiness and excitement for you?
Well, obviously there's, you know, like I said, it's got a charge because my excitement isn't always welcome. So, you know, there's charges, but anytime we got to like break out of those that charge the atmosphere, then yeah, I've always liked it. Like my mom used to take me because she used to take me when I was little in little town, little base, and I didn't like really have people, and so I remember just me and my mom walking around, and sometimes she made my costumes, and sometimes, you know, I remember my first Halloween that I remember. I was little, and I was excited to be a witch. I know, right? Anyway, so I was a witch, and we were walking around, and a black cat started following us and just stayed with us the whole time. And I was like,
I'm a witch.
Even my mom, she's like, I think you're really a witch. And I was like, I do too. And it was like, so that's my first Halloween that I remember.
Oh my goodness. I love
that.
that.
So yeah, I like Halloween.
I love that feeling as a
like
kid when you realize like, oh my God, this is really happening.
Right?
I'm really magic.
Right?
That's cool.
That was such a cool moment. So I like Halloween. Now, how about you?
You know, it's not a favorite holiday of mine.
Yeah.
It's not one that like I definitely don't have the same joy and excitement that you do. There's things I do like about Halloween. I like I remember being a kid and doing the trick-or-treating and stuff like that, of course. I'm trying to think of like my favorite costumes. When I was little, I was Danielson from the Karate Kid, which basically the costume was my, I had a gi, like a karate gi that was pajamas.
Yeah.
And like, it wasn't a gi from, you know, actual karate class or anything like that. It was pajamas. And that's what my Halloween costume was my pajamas. And I remember thinking, I'm like, this is so cool. I get to wear my pajamas to school. Because back then, you know, they still do it here, but like you get to wear your costume to school. And then I was Wesley from The Princess Bride, and that was a good costume. And then in third grade, because the elementary school that I went to would do like a Halloween parade.
Yeah.
And so all the kids would go walk down Main Street, and you get to get candy from all the businesses, and your parents would, you know, hang out and watch you.
I love that.
And then they'd have like the big fair at the school and the carnival and the spook alley and all that kind of jazz. And when I was in third grade, for whatever reason, and I don't even know why, but I like boycotted it. I decided in third grade that I wasn't dressing up, that I was too old. Like, I'm done with Halloween. This is it. I'm finished. And I went to school that day just in clothes, not dressing up for Halloween. Sorry, world. This is it. I'm not doing it.
Not participating.
And the teacher or teachers made me a paper mache wig, and then hung a sign around me that said, I'm a party pooper, and this is my costume.
That is fucked up.
And so I had to walk in the parade with a paper mache wig and then a sign around my neck.
That is fucked up. That is horrible. You got publicly shamed by freaking assholes.
Right.
I am so sorry that happened to you. That is terrible.
Yeah. So.
Whoa.
I don't remember why I was boycotting it, other than who knows, right? The list of potential reasons why is endless. But I do remember that, and I remember them like I was so fucking angry. I just remember being so upset. I'm like,
rightfully so.
They make this stupid wig, and
you were like,
violent. This is so dumb.
Oh my goodness.
I was so frustrated. But you know,
it's a small town. Are they still here? Let's go egg their house. I want to egg their houses.
I see that teacher at Solberg's. No,
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go egg them. I'm gonna do something. That's right. I'll drop into a lower theme for some retaliation right now. I'm so mad. That's so mad. I'm so mad. That's not okay. That sucks. I'm really sorry that happened to you.
It's okay.
You didn't deserve that. I don't need you to make. I'm just like, I'm seeing you. That is terrible.
Yeah. That was frustrating for sure.
Did you ever enjoy Halloween after that? I mean, I can't imagine you did.
I don't know if I did. I enjoyed aspects of it. Like I enjoyed, because all through school, like middle school and everything like that, there'd be like the Halloween carnival, and I used to really enjoy the spook alleys and scaring kids in the spook alley and participating in that part of Halloween. But yeah, I don't know if I don't remember ever dressing up after that. Like I don't have a costume that stands out in my mind after Wesley in second grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you dressed up with me to go to a Halloween party, was that like your re-entrance into the costume world?
Maybe. It's really funny because I don't have, now I'm trying to think about, maybe that was a traumatic event for me.
Maybe
in third grade that fucked up Halloween for the rest of my life.
That is a traumatic event.
And because I'm not a big fan of what it is it's really funny because I like dressing up in a sense, but I feel foolish. And so I don't ever, like I always do it in this really begrudging way and don't really embrace it at all because I just feel stupid. And maybe that's why.
Well, yeah, I can see that.
Maybe
I can connect some dots there.
Yeah. Because before, like, man, like I remember, same thing like Asher would do, right? I mean, you would wear your Halloween costume long after Halloween.
Right.
Like it became part of my wardrobe, right?
Right.
And yeah, I just remember, I mean, like, you know, as adults, right? We go to a Halloween party or whatever, and I'm just like, this is stupid. And I feel stupid. Like I feel dumb dressing up. And I try not to enjoy it. And I'm like, I'm not going to enjoy this. Like I have that begrudging, like, fine, I guess I'll dress up for you, right? I'm going to dress up because
I thought it was just
you
like
want to do
where we were
this
going.
And but I've always had that.
You never, ever, ever have to dress up for Halloween. That is
I'd
never
like to. That's the funny thing too, is it's like,
oh my goodness.
I mean, you know, like sometimes like Comic-Con, you know, Comic-Con comes around and everybody dresses up in whatever they want for Comic-Con. And
yeah.
I'm like, man, you know, it would be so easy for me to get into that and be like the guy that's got the Batman outfit that looks exactly like Batman.
Do you want to?
Of course I want to.
Let's do it then. You get to take control of this.
Right. Maybe I should reclaim it because I definitely like that inner child part of me that just wants to play dress up and wants to, like, I wanted to be, you know, Neo. I wanted to be, you know, I got a trench coat, and unfortunately it was right around that time period of Columbine, and it wasn't a good idea as a teenage kid to have a trench coat, but maybe we should reclaim some, not this year.
Yeah, whenever you want it, I have got you. I support you, and I am 100% in it with you.
Yeah.
And you never have to. Like, I am just like what you need, I am there.
Yeah. So that's a little bit about Halloween for me. Surprise, surprise. There's trauma in this episode of the podcast. But...
What? Do you remember the teachers' names?
Uh-huh.
Do you want to say them?
Fucking Mrs. Warner.
Mrs. Warner.
My
Shame
third grade
on
teacher.
you, Mrs. Warner.
Yeah.
I hope you realize the damage that you did, and You
It
make
wasn't
better
just her.
choices. Who else
It
was
wasn't
it?
just her either, because
Mrs. Warner.
I mean, it was the same thing that happens in elementary school where it's like the third grade teachers, right? And they're responsible for the third grade students.
What is with third grade teachers? Jesus.
And I remember there was a couple of them that were like, that joined together to I remember
bully
thinking,
the kid.
I remember
Bully?
thinking like somehow they thought that I didn't, like, it wasn't like I was boycotting or not dressing up because it was my choice, but somehow I didn't have a costume.
That was their way of helping.
So that was like, I think I
That's
remember
nice.
that feeling of like, that's what they thought was like, they're trying to help because they thought I didn't have a costume. Like for some reason I came from a home environment where I didn't have a costume, or my parents didn't provide me a costume or something like that.
I'm not going to give them that kind of credit because they hung a sign around you that said, I'm a party pooper. So no,
Right.
They don't get the, we were just trying
It
to
was some
help.
like rhyme too.
No.
It was some like, I'm a party pooper, and this is like, it was, yeah, it was frustrating.
There's so many different ways they could have taken that if they thought they were helping you. You don't shame somebody when you're helping them.
Right?
Like maybe a little kid, a little third grader, you're like 9.
I know.
That's tiny. Bullshit. No, Mrs. Warner. No.
Poor Craig.
terrible.
Poor little Craig.
Yeah. That's,
So it's not my
Yeah.
favorite holiday.
well, I get that.
I guess we can see why now.
Man. Yeah, we can.
I remember like even when the kids were little, because like you dress up with your kids, right? It's like the whole thing where you've got everybody in the family's got the theme, and you're doing this and you're doing that. And even that, I was kind of like I would enjoy them dressing up and the whole thing of taking, the kids trick-or-treating and everything like that. That was always fun. But I was always like a just begrudging bystander. I didn't really embrace the experience.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It's all okay.
It's interesting. I've never put those pieces together. I remember that experience from third grade very well.
I imagine so.
I remember, like, I was so fucking mad.
Yeah.
The stupid hat that, like, it was paper mache. It was, you know how you used to make shit like that when you were, that shit was everywhere not in eighth grade, in elementary school in the 80s. And they like crafted this fucking, it was so frustrating.
That's really frustrating. I'm mad with you.
Yeah. Anyways, I also wanted to talk about fears, because there's a part of like obviously October and Halloween and movies and
Scorpio
terror
season.
and like, what are some of your favorite Halloween movies or scary movies, I guess?
I'm not really into scary movies anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always loved Hocus Pocus. I always loved Hocus Pocus. Are you laughing?
I'm not laughing.
Gosh, this is silly. This is like super silly, but I love the Halloween songs and like the kid songs, not just like Thriller, but like I loved, like, we had this Halloween CD of all these kid songs, and I rocked that. Like,
Do you
that
remember
was
any of them? I remember singing songs in elementary school and stuff, Halloween songs.
I would like have fun with like the voices, because there was one that there was like, there's a hole in the goblin. There's a hole in the cauldron. Griselda. Oh my gosh, I count words. It's okay. I'm doing my best. So my hormones are doing all kinds of things, and so he's like singing. He's like, "There's a hole in the cauldron," and it was just so much fun. And then she would say, "So fix it, dear Igor," in her voice. And then he was like, "But with what shall I fix it?" And it was so much fun. Like, we would sing and like do all of these voices, and like them bones, them dry bones, them. Like, there was so many.
That one.
I would just have like, we would just sing the CD, like, and it was so much fun, and the kids would have so much fun, and like, I think they definitely grew out of it before I was ready for them to.
Still want to
right?
dress them
I would
up and take her
right
take them
so
trick-or-treating.
much
Yeah.
and play that CD in the car and sing
Yeah.
the whole time. It was just, I liked playing with them. It was just
Do you
fun.
have any movie that sticks out?
Oh, sorry. I got distracted with the music. Like Halloween movie?
Like, yeah. Maybe because there's
like
a difference
Halloween,
between like
like-
terror and scary, like terrorize
Yeah.
you, and then just kind of like
Like Halloween.
Beetlejuice.
Okay. Oh, I love Beetlejuice.
Right. Like that's
Okay.
not necessarily a scary
That's
movie,
not
but
scary.
it's kind of scary-ish.
Yeah. So Beetlejuice, love.
Yeah.
Hocus Pocus, love. You like Beetlejuice,
I like
right?
Beetlejuice.
I hate the Halloween movies, like
Yeah.
the Halloween, like Michael Myers, like
Yeah.
fuck that.
Never watched those really.
Yeah. I don't appreciate.
All those ones that came from our generation,
Yeah.
like Freddy and Halloween and Chucky, and I was
Yeah.
never really into any of those.
I watched them and I was never scared by them, but I was the Michael Myers one. There was a couple that would scare me, but I just like that fear wouldn't really hit. And now I feel like any of them scare me.
Yeah.
Like now I'm just like, I don't want to watch it.
Can you think of like the scariest movie that you've ever seen? Like a movie that you're just like, that fucking movie.
I've got two scenarios.
Let's hear it.
I've got
Scenarios or movies?
scenarios and movies. So
The scenario is
I've got the kid movie.
It's Halloween Eve.
I've got the kid movie that messed me up. And then I've got which I stopped being scared of scary movies, right? And then I have the adult movie, which that sounds like a porn. It's not it. I have the movie that I watched when I was an adult that brought the fear out and fucked me up. I was scared. And then, so when I was young, Silver Bullet.
Silver Bullet was the name of it?
Silver Bullet. It's a Stephen King book turned into a movie.
Okay. I don't know. Is it werewolfy or something?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Nick Nolte is in it, and
I don't
it's
remember
like
it.
I have every detail in this brain. So I watched it when we don't need the story, whatever. Silver Bullet when I was a kid, and then when I was an adult, The Conjuring.
The Conjuring.
Isn't that's the nun one?
Is that the yes?
That's the nun one.
You don't like that one?
No, I still don't.
Yeah.
I still don't. There's
Those Conjurings are good.
yeah, they.
Did the Ring get you? Do you remember the original Ring?
I do. The Ring didn't get me, but when Stevie learned how to like do that funky crawl and come at me with her hair down, then I was ready to kick my kid right in the head. I was like, you need to stop. That shit is scary.
I remember like the thing that stands out from childhood as far as scary is It, the miniseries.
Oh yeah.
I know that's not a movie, but like I can't think of much else that scared me. There was stuff that was definitely scary and things that, you know, but that stands out as like the standalone, just pure terror.
Did the whole thing scare you, or was it just like one scene?
It was kind of like a prolonged frozen nightmare of anxiety, because it was like, I remember, we should go back and watch it.
Oh my gosh, did you block it? We did.
Not the miniseries.
Yeah, we did.
We watched the miniseries?
We did. And then we realized as adults, it didn't have the same effect. We were like,
maybe.
Okay.
Maybe that's what I said in my frozen terror state.
Oh my God. Because you don't even remember watching it. So maybe you're like, yeah, it's nothing.
Yeah,
like,
there were just so many parts of that freaked me the hell out as a kid.
The scene that got me the most was the shower scene. Do you remember the shower when he came in and like I can't remember, the kid was forced to go shower because he never wanted to shower.
Oh, yeah.
And the things came out.
The gym.
But when he did that and he like came up and looked with the eyes and the teeth, I was like, oh, that messed me up.
So that one was terrible.
Terrifyingly.
Am I stuttering?
Terrible.
Wasn't there a stutterer
Stuttering
in that
Stanley.
one? Oh no, that's Sixth Sense.
No, that is
Was there a stutterer in It too? I think there was.
Yes. The main character.
Yeah.
Georgie's older brother.
Yeah.
He stuttered.
Yeah.
I just said Georgie and like got scared. just by saying the name. Nobody should ever be named that.
Oh shit! Fuck. Okay. Big deep breath. Then, as an adult,
Yes.
what has scared me from movies?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I don't know. There's definitely, those Conjuring ones are good.
I feel like
The Shining. I don't know if The Shining necessarily scared me.
Yeah.
It was just that intensity. I don't know. Oh, Blair Witch. That was the other one that kind of stood out. That was right around like early 20s or maybe even 18 or 19 or something like that. I feel like I saw that in the theater with my brother.
So we're old enough now to where when you say early 20s, it sounds like we're talking about the year instead of your age.
Right.
That's crazy. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, it was in the 90s.
Yeah. But do you remember, did you ever watch the Blair Witch?
Yeah.
Did that one get you?
That one didn't get me, really. The only part, the very end, got me because the whole thing, I was just like, this is stupid. And the end, when she was like, she or he, whatever, was standing in the corner, that part, then I was like, oh.
Yeah, when Josh is standing over in the corner.
You remember his name?
Yeah.
Woo. Yeah, that part got me.
Yeah, that was
I was
good.
like, I think they made a second one, and I was like, I don't even watch it. Oh my God, Jeepers Creepers.
No, that one didn't.
Oh.
Didn't watch that one.
I don't know. Him smelling, because I think it's because I connect with scent so much. And so I get the smell. But when he was like smelling and getting their scent, and there was no, I hate Jeepers Creepers.
Is it a genre of film that you are, that you have been over the course of your life a fan of? Like, I'm not really, do you know what I mean? They're not one of my go-to movies.
I was very much.
Yeah.
The Fear Factory genre. And I don't mean like Fear Factor. But yeah, I loved all the horror movies. Like that was all of it. And including books. So I would read those type of books.
Wow.
Like that was my thing.
That was your dopamine.
That was my dopamine. That was it. Everything was
That's so fascinating.
Fear is how I got my fixes.
Yeah, I didn't really like them.
Yeah, I don't now.
Yeah. Nowadays too, I don't know, it takes, I'm trying to think of the last one that kind of got me a little bit. Have we watched anything scary recently?
Nope.
That movie, yeah, nope.
It looked like it was going to be. It looked like.
Yeah, I don't really get.
The prank, when they scared him with the prank. Spoiler alert, there's a prank.
Nope.
And it wasn't really the scary thing. It was like kids or something messing with him at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
That was the scariest scene.
That was a little spooky.
Yeah. I was like, no.
Yeah.
And then like that was.
What type of scary stuff gets you the most? Like, is it, for me, it's always
anything
stuff,
now.
Anything now?
Anything. Now, I don't like to be afraid.
Yeah.
I don't like it anymore. It is not my comfort zone. I'm like, made me laugh. Made me feel good.
I think the stuff that gets me nowadays is like when they start, even though I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Like when they start getting into the realm of like the devil and possession and.
Yeah. Like Exorcist.
Yeah. The Exorcist to me is kind of comedic. I don't like stuff that's like too over the top.
Oh.
I like stuff that could I'm
gonna throw up. I just got a memory of one. Keep going.
Do you know what I mean? Like the kind of stuff when like in that scene in Nope is a good example where the shadows move.
Yeah.
Because
we see that shit.
That reminds me, this is another terror that I was thinking of this last night when I was thinking about this conversation and what we were going to talk about on the podcast. And I thought about this moment and then I had to stop myself. So
I'm getting scared.
Are you ready? I'm going to scare you.
Okay.
Because we've talked about this one before too.
Okay. And then I'm going to share the one that I'm seeing too that's fucking me up.
Go ahead.
No. I don't know. I don't want you to, like, you've got it first. You can go. I'll go after.
There's a scene and there's not just a scene.
Oh!
Mijo, we're going to be busy for next, we got about
We're
another.
literally talking about scary shows and we're activated and you came around the corner and scared the hell out of me.
Can it wait?
I was just wondering how to work the coffee machine.
Oh,
yeah, you're going to have to wait.
Yeah, I mean, you got to grind beans and clean the filter and add water and stuff. So however much you want to drink.
Okay. What do I just hit start then?
Yep. Once it's all done, just hit start.
You just scared the shit out of me. See, I don't like that. I'm activated.
So I'm going to see if I can do the sounds from this scene.
I
of
know
this
what
movie.
it is. I already know what you're gonna do.
Do you?
Yes, and it did scare me. I already know what it is. Okay, stop.
So what's that movie?
I can't name it.
Because you don't know what I'm talking about, or because you know?
No, because like, you would do that. You would make that sound. There was something, and I can't like it's. I have a body memory, a visceral memory.
So this isn't a scary movie.
What was it then?
This is a love story.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
But this part, because this was another movie from our childhood, right?
No, because you
And
would
this
do
part
that
fucked me up.
sound
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
So am I just afraid of the sound, and I never even had the context of the
No,
movie? You
You've
just
seen
like
the movie. We've had this conversation and everything.
I blocked it.
But
Like you blocked it.
It's from Ghost.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
When somebody bad dies.
It. Yep.
Right. And then those things come up out of the fucking ground.
Right.
That's a fuck off, right? I can't take it. And I was thinking about that in bed last night, and I was like, oh my God.
Oh God.
But it's funny because obviously it's a love story. Well, maybe it's not
It
obvious,
is.
but
Well, yeah, right.
so that's the stuff that's always scared me the most, I think, is like satanic-y, devil-y,
Yeah.
like when people are possessed, or like the stuff that is so easy to imagine because you see it sometimes when you're scaring yourself, right? Like anytime there's somebody up in the corner of the room,
Oh yeah.
like that kind of shit when somebody's crawled up the wall and they're in the corner of the room, like fuck off. Because how many times
I
have
don't
you
like
laid
it when
in
they do
bed?
the walk, the on all fours walk, whether forward, whether they're like crawling at you or backwards. Like I said, I think I did hit her in the head one time, and she was like, "Oh, you hit me," and I'm like, "I'm sorry," but like you came at me, I'm gonna hit you.
So which the one that came to your mind?
As I'm talking about beating my own child, I'm like, if it was a 3-year-old, like I would kick a 3-year-old. You can't come at me like that. It's too scary. It's I think it's another one of the is it another one of the Conjurings? I don't know, because like they did these series of films, right? And it was a possession one. So the mom got possessed.
That's a Conjuring.
And like, fuck those movies.
Yeah.
So the mom did, and like oh God, seriously, it's making me throw up. It's making me nauseous. Like the kid had got back in the house or something and was under the house, and the mom, like the devil, like saw and like went under and was coming at the kid, and the kid's trying to get through, and she's like coming, and her eyes are that color, and she's possessed, and she's gonna get so I'm like, this kid is like, I'm getting goosebumps, I'm getting afraid, like is seeing not like their mom, which is their and then like the possession, and oh God, I can't breathe.
Yeah.
And finally she got her, put her hand on her, and made her see, and somehow I compel you.
See, those are the things that get me sometimes, because it's so easy to believe it.
Yeah.
Like it's so easy to tap in and be like, oh, this shit's real. Like people get possessed. There's good and evil.
It's because like that's how you were like groomed as a child.
Oh, yeah,
that
totally.
Like this is what happens if you don't obey.
Exactly.
This
Satan
is what
worshiping,
happens.
like anything, all the stuff that was programmed into us has always been
All that bullshit.
But that's the stuff that I'm just like,
like it is ingrained. Like that's like, it's also like, it's a threat too. It's a punishment, like it's not even like, oh, this might, happen. It's if you are bad, like this is where
then
you're
those
going.
fucking
They're coming for
black
you.
ghost monster devil things come out of the ground and start moaning, and then they snag you and take you. See, fuck that scene from Ghost.
I used to be really afraid of Maleficent.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I'm not
From the original?
anymore.
Like the cartoon.
There was,
or
it was
Angelina Jolie.
No, it was because of my mom. Like, and who knows? Because you know how kids remember things. So my child memory was being tiny, and her reading to me like those like golden books, whatever, like they have the golden bind, and it's like the Disney. So she's reading me that, and there's like, I can still see the page because I can't read yet. I can still see the page of there's kids. It's like the Mickey Mouse Club, because they have on the ears, the hat. They have on like the Disney hats with the ears. They're like the Mickey Mouse Club kids asleep on rocks. And she's like the light green, which by the way, green is heart, come on. She's glowing behind them. They're like lights glowing behind her, and she's looking at them. And I don't know if this is how it happened, but this is my memory. So if it didn't happen like this way, she said something along the lines of, this is how my kid mind interpreted it. So either way, right? She's like, she's watching them to make sure they're asleep. If you don't go to sleep, she's coming for you.
Jesus.
And I remember like, right? Being like, my mom just told me that she's going to come,
right?
Like if I'm not asleep. And it came from my mom. So like that shit's true, right? I was so afraid. I remember just like keeping my eyes shut and faking sleep till I would finally fall asleep just so I wouldn't. And like that stayed with me for so long. And when I would wake up from a nightmare, I would keep my eyes shut and then go like real quick, like, Mom, and then pretend to sleep again, thinking that I would trick the evil that was watching, like, oh, did we hear her? No, she's still sleeping. We didn't hear anything. So I would like constantly fake sleep to try and like.
That's so
Isn't
terrible.
that terrible?
Yeah.
That's like, that's that one, woo.
Alien stuff gets me too.
Signs.
Signs, not so much. That was kind of suspenseful. Like I'm thinking about like, maybe it's not necessarily alien stuff, but it's like anytime there's like shit grabbing you out of bed or, do you know what I mean? Any of those kind of, yeah. I mean, there's alien movies that have definitely spooked me because I believe like in aliens.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not, everything that is within the realm of my imagination scares me.
Right.
Like something like Jason or Michael Myers, or those two different movies. One's the ski mask or the hockey mask.
Chainsaw.
See, none of that shit ever scared me.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's just stupid.
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger, I'm like, that's dumb. Because it's not in the scope of like reality.
Michael Myers was like her brother. Like he wasn't.
See, I never watched it. So I have no context for it.
Like, brother wants to kill her. That's
So it's a little bit more within the realm of your imagination. But yeah, it's funny how much like we feed off of it, right?
I'm afraid right now.
That dopamine hit and the stimulation from all of that stuff, keeping us in all of these trauma loops and feeding off of it. And
what scares you? Now I'm like the IRS.
Is there anything behind you right
now? Okay, don't fucking do that. I'm sitting here, my back is hurting and I'm like nervous and shit. That's just mean. Don't do that. God, don't do that. It's still like I can't feel better.
Oh my gosh.
Fuck.
I love you so much. It's just your guitar behind you, babe.
Stop it. Don't even look at me right now. Look forward. Don't look at me. Don't make eye contact.
How much is our imagination the problem though, right? And it's not the problem, but it's kind of like, because we could sit here and close your eyes and just try to breathe into your body. And, we're going to get into like the connected somatic experience of being connected to our body.
I gotta pee.
And then suddenly one whatever, right? One flash of a thought or a memory or a sound. And then instantaneously you're battling demons and you're fighting the fears. And it starts to itch up onto your back and crawl across your skin. And now get your feet up off the ground.
Stop.
All of that stuff
Why
that happens.
You quit having fun?
Why do you think that is?
Because I don't
the intensity of that type of fear that can take us over in an instant, right? You're sitting in our safe house in a bright room. It's night. It's everything. It's
I'm going to
totally
have to like curl up with a heating
pad.
What's up,
mijo?
Weird.
Nope. Just start. It's the button on the left side of the coffee pot.
So is it the power button?
Yes.
So how long does it take the thing to start going?
It will start going automatically. It just takes a minute for it to brew. Got a 16-year-old.
You know what? He's got his mom's back because he is like that calm. Like he comes in and I'm like, oh, everything's fine. I can start to see the room again. I was going tunnel.
Right.
And my tunnel isn't like focusing on things. It was like the imagination, the scenes that I was seeing. Mm-hmm. I was like seeing all of, instead of being like, oh, no, I'm here.
Yeah, it's so fascinating to me. Sometimes, do you ever play with it within your own space and your own imagination? Like, do you ever scare yourself sometimes?
Yes, all the time.
Not on accident.
Okay.
Not like
Like quite frequently, as a matter of fact.
Like last night I got up at 3 whatever, right?
Yeah.
3 something, because I woke up and I had to pee, but I was laying there in bed and I'm like, I don't think our furnace is kicked on. And I'm like, is it cold? It feels cold. Maybe it's cold. And I'm like, I don't know if it has
So you felt the room super cold?
well, I felt like it was cold, but I couldn't tell if it was really cold. So in my head I'm like, maybe we never turned it back on. So maybe the furnace was off. So I got up to go check the furnace. And
you know what they say about extreme temperature fluctuations?
Are you trying to scare me right now?
No, I'm just stating facts, mister. Facts.
So it wasn't extremely cold. That was the whole thing.
You just thought the heater was off.
Yeah. In my head, I'm like, maybe. And so I was worried about the kids downstairs, right?
Uh-huh.
So I go and check the furnace. But when I stepped out of our room, because it's night, I stepped out of our room, the floor creaks.
Yeah.
Right. And immediately I'm like, somebody's fucking moving on the floor. Somebody's fucking over there. And I start laughing to myself in my head, like this is the whole inner narrative of as I'm just going to check the furnace. And for a moment, because I'm the one that made the floor creak, but for a moment, like there has been times, plenty of times where I make the conscious choice to go down that scary rabbit hole for a second, where suddenly the short walk over to the thermostat to see if the furnace is on becomes like this fear-inducing experience of there's energy or ghosts or something. There's a presence in that space that I have to like avoid. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Check the furnace, turn the light on, and it disappears, the thing that's there. And then I'm just like, oh, it wasn't really there. It was in my imagination. And then as I go to turn the light off to come back to the bedroom, then the thought will be, as soon as the light comes off, it's going to be there again. I can feel it already, even before the light comes off. And then I turn the light off and it's there, and I got to go back to the bedroom. And then I'm like standing there in the bathroom trying to pee. And I'm like, you're freaking yourself out. This is so stupid. But then there's another part of me that will then even have more fun. Like I will stand in your bathroom and I'm standing there peeing and I can feel it around me. And I'm like, so the peripheral vision, it's always in the peripheral, right? In the peripheral vision, I can see the thing moving outside into like our bathroom, right? All of this is taking place within the scope of my imagination. And in reality, nothing is happening. But because you and I believe in alternate dimensions and other realities, in my mind, I'm like, in reality, this reality, motherfucker, there's another reality where there is something there scaring the living shit out of you. So I'm like, you can do it, Craig, you can do it. And then I'm like 6 years old again. I'd be like, I gotta get up. Like in Sixth Sense, like that scene where the little boy's got to get up and run down the hall to go pee, and it's cold and he can feel his breath. Like that whole scene is like my childhood, right?
Right.
That fear that I still experience as an adult.
Well, there's still like experiences that happens. That's been something that's on my mind of like when we move, I have to get like familiar with the energy that's there. Yeah. Like we have to learn a whole new energy.
Yeah.
And me personally, like after the fact is when I can see it. After the fact is when it's like, okay, now I see the neatness of this. I see the cool. I see the connection. I see the messages. I see the, you know, all of the stuff that it actually is. I see it all after. And I have intellectual, like, I understand this completely through and through. Believe it, see it, connect the dots, all of that. I have not been able to figure out or even consider in the moment of experiencing it to like sink in and be like, okay, what actually is happening here? Who is this? Like, let's get curious about the energy. And like, really, no, in the moment, I'm like, terror. I can't even think that anything's okay. Like, there's no like, oh, maybe it's just, you know, no, it's absolute panic, terror, worst case scenario. I'm scared in the moment.
How do you get through those moments? Like, do you have a practice or a process, or what does that experience look like for you? So when you wake up in the middle of the night and that shit starts coming up for you, what does that look like for you? How do you get through it?
That looks like, it depends. Like when you were gone, there would be different things. I would have to turn on lights or not fucking move. The worst is when it's happening around and your kids are there and they're witnessing, and you have to be mom when you're like, no, we need to run. And you got to figure out how to like protect, and you do. But like, I don't know. Like, I clusterfuck my way through it. Panic. Sometimes
do you feel like you
freeze.
have like a thing?
Do I have a thing?
Like,
No.
you know, in your head, you're like, okay, like you start to walk through the
No, I'm like,
realities or
who's gonna
anything?
protect me? Who's gonna help? I need help.
You don't rationalize it out.
No, I just said no, I can't do that until after. It's very I can think of one time when I did rationalize it. And that was like coming upstairs and I was able to pinpoint the energy and realize that I thought it was me, like dimension. We'll just get to like the whole thing. But that's not often.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty recently.
Yeah. It's not often that I can rationalize. And it is such a strong thing because like this is also like a technique when you're talking about how your brain works to help you lucid dream. Because if you bring awareness to nightmares, like sometimes when you get, you know, nightmares just like surprise you with shit that happens, you know, you're not thinking about it and it's just like, ah. But if you catch yourself in a dream getting scared that something's coming around the corner, what always happens? Something comes around the corner. And so it's just like that perception of your fears is what creates. So even if like just the fear of it, your imagination starts to see it, which turns it real. So that concept of like realizing that helped me learn how to lucid dream before I knew what lucid dreaming was when I was a kid. And then I thought, well, if I can picture scary things, because I used to be able to wake myself up too. I would see it and I would like, Stephanie, wake up. And then I would wake up. But when I realized if I can create scary things, say I had enough awareness in a dream, because that happens. We all have these lucid moments, but it doesn't mean that we're going to lucid dream. We have to be able to, in these lucid moments, like grab a hold of that, just another level, and then go. But realizing that what you think is what you can create in the dream. So it's like literally the infinite possibilities, because all you have to do is think it and it appears and it happens and you can fly and you can like create and however. So if you think about that, something scary is coming around the corner and then you can like turn that into a dream. But yeah, let's talk. I'm just lucid dreaming now. Happy thoughts.
I'm thinking
activated.
about those moments when you're scaring yourself. And then I'm like, what is my process like? Because I try to rationalize it, but it always has like this level of terror in your body that you have to like move with. I don't like it. Like it's so hard.
But you do it on purpose.
Sometimes. And then sometimes it just snags me, right? Like sometimes there's some biological evolutionary thing that, we're afraid of the dark for a reason, right?
Yeah. There's also just the psychological, it's literally the unknown. We don't know what's in the dark, we can't see, and we're like programmed to fear the unknown, and safety is only in the known. Even if the known is something that is terrifying, your body will still choose that over the unknown just because it's known. Yeah. So it's just literally the fear of the unknown, which is where you need to work on embracing all of the magic can happen. Also, it's scary.
It is so scary.
What do you think you gain out of putting yourself into those situations? Are you like and scaring yourself intentionally?
Like when I do it intentionally?
Yeah. What?
I gain is relative, right? I don't think I'm gaining anything. I think it's totally that stimulation. I think it's totally the dopamine. It's totally the, it's me trying to give my nervous system that adrenaline dump subconsciously. So it's my brain playing. What are you looking around for? Are you finding things?
I just remember that I couldn't get the outlet to work because.
And everything's working?
Yeah. It's like whatever reason I touch electronics right now, it's not working for me.
It's because you're so powerful.
That's what it is.
Because you're an energetic witch.
Powerful.
But I think that's what it is.
So it's
I
just
think it's
the
my
straight
subconscious giving me that drug hit.
How do you think you could achieve that kind of like, in a way, self-soothing, that hit without actually sacrificing yourself?
That question is confusing me because it doesn't feel like a self-sacrifice. I understand what you're saying. I think for me, the process is recognizing that that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And then slowly lessening my dependence on that.
Just weaning yourself from it.
Yeah. So I have like adrenaline.
Yeah.
I've been slowly weaning myself off of adrenaline.
Yeah.
Right. I used to be much more of an adrenaline junkie where I would create, you name it, right? It doesn't matter. All sorts of different avenues for that chemical to get released in my body. And now I'm trying to slowly wean myself off of that more and more and more every year. So that to me is what it is.
That's really big. Where
it's like, maybe that's all that it is it's also the adrenaline. Because when I get afraid, like I can feel it in my body and it starts to creep up, and it's like it's fight or flight. And so I guess there is adrenaline in that, obviously.
Definitely.
So I just have to slowly not do it.
Yeah.
And I do that at night too. Like sometimes when I'm like, it's almost like something that I can play with. Like I can scare the shit out of myself. Like I can be laying in bed at night, not able to sleep. And I'm sitting there and I can't sleep. And oh my gosh, I can't fall asleep. And my brain. I've been trying to do your trick that you gave me the other day about breath and stuff. But anyways, I can lay there and then, I mean, it's the flip of a coin whether or not I'm going to go down the scary rabbit hole,
right? Rather
than the I can't fall asleep rabbit hole, because all it is a shadow.
I was going to say, what if it's not a trick of the brain or a flip of the coin or your choice? What if it's you pick up when something's there and then it's just the association? I mean, that's what I think it is.
Could be,
we
right?
see it.
Could be.
And then the association you give to it is what path it seems to take.
You know, it's because my senses are super on point. So hearing, I'll hear something outside and it's really easy to just be like, what was that? And then suddenly I dial that hearing up where it's like super tuned in. I'm like, is that a coyote? Maybe it's a coyote. That's a neighbor. No, it's totally teenagers. And then and all it was like a branch in the wind. Right. But I can dial it up and I can go super deep into it. And I can either be like, it's so funny because I'll either analyze it like I got to go out there and take care of business. Yeah. Something's happening in our backyard, or fucking werewolves or something, right? Something scary. Oh my God. And it's like, okay, I just got to go to sleep. 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 And then the branch will move again. And I'm like, that's a fucking werewolf. Something's happening. It's aliens.
That would get me.
But it's all adrenaline.
So much being outside in the middle of the night when I would have to like go out there. And it would be a full moon. I would just know like it's watching me and it's come. There was times that I was like, I could feel it. I knew not to turn around and just to get in the house. And I would literally vision me shutting the door. Right. And for some reason, shutting the door
stops it all.
I was like, oh, I can't get her now.
Yeah, can't get through the door.
The glass and everything. But I was like, it's also if I don't look, because if I would look, then it would be like, hurrah. So again,
contact with it.
That keeping that faking sleep from a kid, just like don't look.
If I can't see it, it can't see me.
Right. It's not gonna. It's. Whew.
What would you think?
That would get me
so bad. Do you think you've got the same thing with the adrenaline and then the subconscious doing it?
Absolutely. And I think I'm trying to train my body to like choose healthier, like energy jumps, healthier hormone, like healthier situations. And you can't always be like ha 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 happy, but like I want to be like centered and focused, and my cravings to be things that feel good and not like a pleasure stimulus, just like happiness, like happy hits, caring, loving, as opposed to like, oh, things have been going good for a little while. Things are going really good. I think I'm going to go pick a fight.
Right.
Like
enter in adrenaline.
Right? Like, what do you, look at you. Look at that sink full of dishes, Just
I could argue that is our original addiction. Right? Yeah. It's not food. It's not all of these things. It's that super internal chemical that our body produces.
Right. The food is like a secondary. It's like a, what do they call them? I can't think of it. Wow. Really why can't sound.
tertiary.
Maybe, I don't know what that word is. What's that word
Secondary.
mean? Secondary?
Yeah.
No, it's like the side effect, the symptom. It's a symptom.
Yeah.
And then that becomes the ultimate masker. So
Right.
yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense completely.
Because you and I both have had, I was thinking about this, where it's like you and I have been feeding off of those chemicals before we were born.
We were fed those chemicals in utero.
Right.
And I guess even before conception.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if you think about it from that perspective of like if we are the Matrix and we're born into these pods, and like the tubes that are coming in and feeding us in these little pods are adrenaline and dopamine, serotonin, all of these chemicals are being fed to us from birth upward.
Yeah.
Right. So of course we're going to become addicted to it.
Yeah.
And then like consciously in adulthood, we're like, stop doing those things.
Right.
And then subconsciously they're like, what are you talking about? Like, that's where I go to get that drug.
Right.
That's where the drug comes from. What do you mean? When I push this button, I get the fucking pill, right? What button? I got any of them. What, you want
Right.
fear? Push, right? You want me to scare you about a sound? Push. Drug comes, right? It doesn't matter what it is.
Dang.
Push the button. Here
Yeah.
comes the drug. So then subconsciously we're like, because I'll wake up in the middle of the night sometimes and I'm like, I don't even know I don't know what the underlying feeling is. It's probably anxiety, right? I'm waking up and I'm stressed. And obviously we're in a very stressful time.
Excuse me.
We're in a very stressful time period in our lives right now. And sleeping isn't really curing a lot of it. You know,
Yeah.
it's taking care of some of it, but dreams are full of anxiety and stress. And so I'll wake up and I'll be dysregulated. Like, that's a simple way to put it, right? I'll wake up dysregulated, even if it's for the briefest of moments, why I get up and go pee for 3 minutes or something. I can recognize, like, my nervous system comes online enough to recognize dysregulation.
Yeah.
And so all of
relate
this
to
is
that.
happening subconsciously, right? It's the brain just running the ship while the captain's sleeping. And so it recognizes dysregulation. Cool, go to the dopamine, go to the adrenaline. That's how we fix this dysregulation. Well, he's half asleep, sir. Fucking scare him. Push the scary button. Okay. Push the scary button. Right? And then suddenly the imagination goes, is there a fucking witch in the closet? There's a witch in the closet.
No, just one laying next to you. It's fine.
Your closet scares the shit out of me so many times. Yeah.
Interesting.
Because it'll scare me as I'm standing there peeing.
Uh-huh.
Because your closet door's open and I'm looking into there.
Should I start shutting it for you?
That doesn't help.
Okay. Okay.
Close that closet door, then it doesn't help. So I'll be peeing and the fear will just be created during that process from my peripheral and my imagination. And then I have to walk out of that little pisser closet and stand in front of that sink. And now my back is to the closet.
Yeah.
And if there's enough light, then I can see like the mirror into it's a little vortex of fucking fear right there
Right
for
there.
me.
Oof. I'm sorry.
But 100% it's all, it's the subconscious creating the dopamine hit, or the adrenaline rush to soothe the nervous system. So we just got to come up with better ways to soothe that nervous system.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but I also want to share one that would get me that's like that little vortex thingy is when the garage door would be cracked. Like it wouldn't get shut all the way at night and trying to.
Not the big garage door, but the back door.
Garage.
The
the entry door, the walk, whatever it's called, personnel door. Is that what it's called?
I think it is the personnel door.
I think it is. Seriously, you can laugh at that, but military people are going to be like,
copy that, personnel door.
I know which one that is. We got bay doors, we got personnel doors. Anyways, if that's open, like there were some nights I'd be fine, but if like I looked at it and like had awareness of it, then it would turn into open. Something is watching.
To go close it, right?
No. Like I would be like, fuck that. I don't care. Like it's not, if something's outside, I need to investigate it. I'm like, take what you want. Just don't come in the house. I don't care.
Well, you've got the door closed so they can't come in. So it's okay.
Right? You want to wreak havoc in the backyard? Go for it. Go Vehicleberg. I'm not stopping. I'm going to be in the house. You stay out there. It's like the rule with the bugs. You stay out there. I'll stay in here. We're fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Well, let's wrap up.
Okay.
We
Thank
gotta
you. This
go
was fun.
Help our 16-year-old make coffee.
Yeah, I think that's another thing too, is like stimulants. Like bringing along, we just got really scared. What do I feel like I need right now? Coffee.
Coffee, right?
I need more stimulant.
Yeah, we'll figure out these bodies of ours.
We're doing good. Like we really are. The chaos that I'll just point at you. The chaos that you used to create, not me. I didn't create a chaotic life, but the chaos that you used to create, you don't create those kind of chaoses anymore.
Right.
And it's not like, oh God, here's the thing. It's just like awareness. You are lovingly caring for yourself in ways that are healthier. So yeah, you still create chaos, but like the level, like you are making healthier choices. And for the most part, I do too. Like I'm doing good. There are things that, I just don't participate in. And then every once in a while, I'm like, let's go say hi to Mrs. Warner. Then I get that oomph. That.
Can you imagine the weight of being an elementary school teacher and being woke enough to realize how much trauma you've caused your students on top of how much good you've done? Because it's like,
I'm thinking being a parent.
Yeah, a parent's the same thing, I suppose. But like on a bigger scale almost, because you've got 30 kids every year. And all of them have got some story around the anyways, this is another rabbit
I would
hole.
love to that they would be, if they are woke enough, we'll say, to realize the damage and the good. And they are like, there's forgiveness, there's grace in understanding your role and choosing a different role. Like there's beauty in that. It's the doubling down and not willing to change, making it other people's fault, justifying your actions. There's nothing wrong with that. I was just joking. Like all of that, fuck off. I don't have sympathy for that. I don't need to yet. I'm not there in my journey and I don't care.
But it's interesting because it's like, because for all the Mrs. Warners in like my elementary school or, like in the childhood experience.
Thinking of some of our kids' teachers.
Right. But there's also like the positive ones. Like, the teacher, the second grade elementary, Mrs. Lloyd, such a great teacher, such a huge impact. Right. But at the same time, it's like.
And our kids have those too.
I mean, I've got trauma from like a high school teacher. Yeah. Right. A freshman in high school and some fucking asshole teacher.
Yep.
Causing me, the shame and like that's interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have some teachers come on the podcast, and that would be a hard thing to do, I think.
There's
not teaching, but like the awareness level of, I've traumatized some of these students with my actions.
Of course that would be hard. That's what life is. I mean, not saying life is hard, but like you realize what you have done in your life. You have caused trauma. You have hurt people. And so like bringing that awareness and wanting to make different choices, like there is so much in that.
Right.
There is so much just.
It'd be interesting to see what ones stand out to teachers too. Like I'm always curious, like does Mrs. Warner remember traumatizing me?
Let's invite her on. I want to have a conversation with Mrs. Warner.
I can almost guarantee she doesn't, right? It's probably a nothing day for her.
I don't know. I want to find out. What's that thing you want to like fuck around and find out?
Okay, everybody, go enjoy your Halloween. Happy Halloween.
I hope that she has awareness for that. I hope that somewhere she is like unbinding that, and then that was like I hope that was her last like shaming ritual.
Right.
Like this, something after that clicked inside of her, and she was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
And didn't ever do that
I doubt
again.
It was the 80s, and that's what was like the norm was to just
but I hope
be terrible to your kids and students.
But I hope so. Like, what if that like woke that up in her and she like pondered that? That might be something because that sits in her crawl.
Could be. That
might have been the thing that turned her into a good teacher. Maybe Mrs. Warner is like, that was her moment of, oh my God, I am done with that shit.
And maybe she had a completely different interpretation of it. Maybe she thought of herself as a shitty teacher before that experience.
And then upped her game and started beating kids.
No, in her mind, this was like the thing that she did that was above and beyond because she was so helpful to this little kid that didn't have a Halloween costume. And then suddenly that made her a better teacher, where she kept going above and beyond and helping, maybe.
Yeah.
We just never know.
Yeah.
It's that old adage, right? Well, you never
know. Well, I hope that she has done a lot of helping and loving kids out there after that.
Mrs. Really Warner, if you're listening, hit us up. And Craig will have a conversation with you. I have no ill will.
I have ill will.
That's why I said Craig will have a conversation with you. Stephanie will just fucking give you dagger eyes.
I won't just give you dagger eyes. I want to have a conversation too.
I love you.
I love you.
Tell us what scares you. Reach out. Send us a message. It's fascinating. Or do you scare yourself in the middle of the night? Are you a crackhead on adrenaline and dopamine and all other sorts of drugs running through your body just like we are? We'll see you guys next week.